is something that distinguishes me from all the rest. I'm the oldest. And from an old guy to the rest of the class, congratulations on being selected and inducted into the Hall of Fame. I also feel it's quite a privilege to be listed among all the other inductees that have been inducted over the years. So when Mr. Limerick called me to initially tell me I was elected to the Hall of Fame, my first reaction was, boy, that's great. That's really great. After the call, I got to reflecting on it a little bit, and I started to think about some of the things that you've seen, and I thought my ego started to rise a little bit, I got to say. And I started to get a little bit full of myself. And so I thought I did some similar remarks for my wife when I told her. And keep that kind of yay, me feeling going, you know. So I went in and I said, now, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to think about it seriously. I said, Sharon, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that your husband did something so significant to be elected into the Houston High School Hall of Fame? She said, Warren, you've never been in my wildest dreams. Right down there where I should be, and it's humble to be here tonight. Well, I must have done something right, or we must have, because August 1st, we will celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. So, thank you. I'd like to thank a couple of people that got me here. Ed Heinlein, who's a lot of you know, remember the 2006 Hall of Fame, started the process of initiating me, or submitting an application for me. Sadly, last fall, Ed passed away. But because of his bout with Parkinson's disease, he early on enlisted the aid of Susan Ann Miller. And I say Susan Ann Miller, the full name, because from now on, I'm going to call her what everybody else calls her, and that's Sam. So Sam took over the reins and proceeded to nominate me, and I want to thank, special thanks to her for all of her efforts. Thank you, Susan. But I want to back up and thank the entire Miller family, because they delivered me twice. Her dad, Dr. Clint Miller, a long time New Summit physician, family physician, delivered me. Delivered me. He gave birth to me, or we've been in some whole thing long before now. Delivered me back in 1940. And then, of course, Susan took up the reins and delivered my application for the Hall of Fame. I'd also like to thank Jim Brockman, who's here. Now, don't be confused, this is Little Jim. And when I was growing up in Lee Summit, I would call Little Jim, and invariably his mother would answer. And I'd say, I'd like to talk to Jim. And she'd say, Big Jim or Little Jim? And why she ever thought that I would call Mr. Brockman. I've got to talk to him. So thanks, Jim, for supporting my nomination. And thank you and Mary Beth for traveling through back here from the West Coast to be here tonight. I really appreciate it. Also, Manny Maggedy and Stan Maggedy. I don't know if they're here, but they signed a letter for my application. Now, this honor is especially meaningful to me because I come from a long-time family in Lee Summit. In fact, my dad coached here in 1927. I thought till 1939. Someone corrected me and said 1937, and that's probably right. When he was hired in 1927, he was told that you can have the job for $150 if your mother will teach English for free. Tracy from Wisconsin, are you listening to that? Okay. Couldn't hire him that way now, could you? Which she did for a while. So I'm from an old Lee Summit family. 65 years they lived in Lee Summit until my dad passed away. So it's especially meaningful that tonight I stand here and do some of this Hall of Fame. The video, I submitted several pictures. My grandmother was in there, she didn't make the cut, but I wanted to mention her because when I was growing up, she lived with us, practically raised me, but when I was growing up, if I sneezed and it made a newspaper or a publication or a picture, she would cut it out and put it in a scrapbook. So she is the source of all this material that you saw up on the screen. There was a photo in there too. I don't know if it passed by quickly, but it was a headline of Kansas State University beating the University of Kansas. Well, I'm not paid about it anyway. I didn't put that up there. I'm not telling you that. There was a sub-headline that had my name in it because that was one of the best games I ever played. But I'm not telling you that for that reason. I'm telling you because it's a small payback to the lifetime of KU abuse. Explain that my wife grew up in Lawrence, went to KU, was a KU cheerleader, still a Jayhawk fanatic, and on game nights or game days, she still thinks she's a freshman over there. And my two daughters graduated from there, my oldest being Boy Williams, female basketball manager. Even my dog, on game days, they would put crimson and blue ribbon around his neck. But the worst thing that ever happened, most abuse I ever had, is when we brought our firstborn home from the hospital and put her on the change table. My wife had decorated the room. And she says, turn on that light switch. She says, I think you'll like it. So the light switch, so I turned it on. The top plate, the top half said, KU turns me on. The bottom half says, K-State turns me off. So this is my payback. I'm going to get it when I get home. This is my payback. I just put it for the record for everybody to know that while I played at Kansas State University, Kansas State record against KU was 7-3. I can't still figure out how you won 3 games. Well, I know I'm limited in time, but just a couple more things. There's several classmates in the video. I see Russ Childers, I think, and Jim Brockman. Did you notice how short the pants were? There's Marley Slow, Corley, and she was in, I don't know if that made the cut either, but there was a picture of all the cheerleaders, and of course she had on knee-length culottes. Bob, she was considered as a real hottie. And she still is. So, when several of my classmates heard that I was being inducted, they said, what did you do to get selected for the Hall of Fame? So all you ever did all your life was get involved in sports and get paid for it. And that's true, and I agreed with them, but apparently that agreement wasn't enough because I think, good-heartedly, continued to say, we're in high school, got a free education, got a scholarship, got a free education, you were in the Air Force and sports, and one guy who I think was an enlisted guy said, and yeah, you got officers paid, didn't you? I did, and I'll eat that. And then I was in the NSA and all those, and I agree to them. On reflection, it seems kind of remarkable to me that for a lifetime in sports, I'm being honored here tonight. To me, it's been just like kind of a lifelong scholarship, and it's been a really good run. In closing, let me say that I really appreciate being selected to the High School Hall of Fame. I'm grateful to all my friends who showed up tonight, as well as all the rest of you who have come for the program. Thanks for listening to my ramblings and for being here. Finally, for those of you who are concerned, as well as those that don't really give a darn, let me assure you that from now on I'm going to concentrate on figuring out how to get in my wife's rivals. Thank you. I'll bring it up. Daryl just told me to eat the microphone.
First, I want to congratulate the other Hall of Fame nominees and their families that are here tonight. It's an honor to be selected along with you for this great honor. I want to put some thank yous out before I forget. And my old lifetime friend, Susan Place Sims, who nominated me for this recognition. Her mother was one of my senior teachers. She taught a very popular class called American Problems. And it was exhilarating for the 60s and 50s. It was during the class. Susan is a classmate of my brother Jim in the class of 59. Her only brother, Jackson, was a classmate of my brother Jerry in the class of 57. I also want to thank the selection committee and the staff members of LSHS that chose me for this recognition. I want to send a special thank you out to the faculty and staff and teachers of Lee Summit High School that influenced my life long after I graduated from this school. And especially, I want to thank my family, my friends, my cheerleaders that joined me tonight that have helped me to become the person that I am now. I like to think that I have lived a life that would make my parents and siblings proud of me. Tonight, I think that I have succeeded in that quest.
That took me on quite a trip back. I'm kind of overwhelmed. I am Pat Johnson Tucker, and I'm so honored to accept this award on behalf of my brother. He was in the class of 67 and passed away in 2010, which was way too soon. I know if he were here, he would be so thrilled and proud to be placed in the Lee Summit High School Hall of Fame. He will always be in the presence of many of the wonderful Hall of Fame recipients. Can you hear me okay? I would like to particularly thank the committee members for choosing Al for this wonderful honor. I know that tremendous amount of work goes into this program, and I feel so special to be just a tiny part of it tonight. So thank you all. I would also like to thank Susan Sims and Mary Conklin for encouraging me to nominate Al. Al was a scholar, an anthropologist, a musician, an advocate for Native American students, an advocate for animals, a professor, a musician, a wonderful son, a loving brother, and a fun and goofy uncle. Thank you so much. Wow. I knew this would not be easy. I didn't realize all the things that would happen before I had to speak, so forgive the shakiness. First, I'd like to thank the Lee Summit High School administration and the Hall of Fame committee for affording us the opportunity to be here tonight and for selecting my mom to receive this honor. My mom was just that. She was a giver. I remember several years ago her coming home and announcing that she had been invited to actually serve on the Hall of Fame committee. Never thinking that she would be one to be inducted. However, just being on the committee was just a fabulous honor for her. So to be here tonight, we are grateful and we are very humbled to be accepting this on her behalf. As much as I wish my mom was here to accept this award for herself, and also wishing she would have written her own speech, it's hard to everybody to thank. Our roots are very deep here in Lee Summit. Like was stated, she moved here when she was 11 with her parents and family. We were also born and raised, my sister and I, here in Lee Summit community. My mom never left, wavered at all from this community. She gave from the time of her high school years, the volunteerism. She taught us to also give to our community. She loved Lee Summit. There weren't many times when a visitor would come or family maybe that lived further away out on the coast. My uncle would come back and my mom would be like, oh, we're going to drive down 3rd Street. And my uncle would be like, why? Like, oh, you haven't seen it this time. It was something that
There was always something new, something she wanted to share that was going on in the community. I think that's one of the things, when she pitched the idea to the Lee Summit Journal about writing this column, Lynn's Look, we kind of, joking back and thinking, okay, kind of the limelight, or really she just wanted to attend a lot of parties. Anybody who knows my mom, just a socialite. So in thinking that, but I think really looking back, it was her way of letting others know truly what was going on at Lee Summit in the community. The Lee Summit High School motto, tradition, pride, excellence. She went through that. She learned through that in her high school years. She was proud to be a Lee Summit High School graduate. Her college years came much later, but that didn't waver in what she learned through these hallways, albeit very changed from those times. She took pride in the tradition of Lee Summit in the high school. During her days through the pep rallies to cheering on football games while my sister and I were in high school, those traditions ring very deep for my mom. She also took roles that was presented in non-traditional ways. In the early to mid-70s, she was part of the League of Women Voters, something that was very non-traditional on the front of looking at it for her through the lens of a stay-home mom. That was not simply her role. She was behind the scenes, making phone calls, making sure women knew their right to vote and what the roles were, what was on the ballot. She was inspirational. She wanted young girls to know what leadership roles were available. She took on the role of leader of Campfire, and I can assure my sister probably can attest to the fact that it was not her love of the outdoors, nor her gift, as we can also attest to some campsite blow-ups. I believe her love of outdoors really had more to do with suntan lotion than a foil mat, but she gave, and she did that. She camped out with those girls. She gave that time. She did not like bugs. So we know that was definitely something that, that was important to her. She had pride, the tradition, pride. She was proud of her education. She was proud to be a Lee Summit graduate, and she was proud of this community. Again, she served on the reunion committees because she wanted people to come back and see what being a graduate from Lee Summit meant to her and to this community. She was proud that we graduated from Lee Summit. She stayed here making sure my sister and I were graduates of Lee Summit High School. Excellence. She saw the best in everyone, many times above her own. Like was mentioned, she would sit back to her own accolades for others. She gave her all as a daughter, as a mother, as a Grammy, as a friend, as a colleague. She strived for excellence in herself. When she received the Lifetime Membership Award from the Lee Summit Chamber, it was an award that served a purpose for her that went much deeper because it was something that she shared. And I'll never forget the picture of my nephew Dylan presenting it to her again in the kitchen and her accepting it since we weren't there, and the enjoyment and just the sheer excitement that acceptance and that her acknowledgement, all that in others too, not just her own family. We have, she saw things in young people. We have Matt Lewis's family here tonight. She saw him from a young man, as a budding Elvis entertainer, and she went with that. She supported She got the community behind him, was very active in getting shows done and his success. When Sophia Hoffman was running for the Jackson County Spelling Bee, my mom was there. I think she told every person that came through the salon, you know, who to cheer for and pray for, and she supported her sister Jordan's musical talents as she put out her first CD as a student, at least on it. So tradition, pride, excellence. I know there are many people we can thank for this honor for my mom. There are only a few teachers that I know impacted her. Mrs. Kay Place and Mrs. Mildred Mitchell were among definitely the ones that I remember in her stories. She left a legacy that is hopefully ingrained in us as we lead forward, and importantly in the younger generation. Lynn Olive came through this high school under the pillars of tradition, pride, and excellence. And she has left her legacy, and I hope that we can do the same. Thank you.
Since I'm last, I'll keep it short because I know everybody's getting ready to go home. And also I'll keep it short because I don't have a single thing to say about KU or K-State. So I don't know what's left to say, really. So I do want to thank the committee, and especially Shannon Lawrence for nominating me, because this is a great honor. And I also want to at least acknowledge a couple other people mentioned Susan Sims, who I don't know where she is. Oh, there she is. She was my 5th grade teacher at Westview Elementary. So there's always a connection. I talked to Dr. Nelson, and he said, you know, maybe you should hit on a few memories from high school. And I was trying to think of some of those, and I thought, you know, I'm talking about people you all have never met and events you've never been to. And if you weren't there, it isn't that great of a story. But actually, he said, well, you know, think of something that had really sent you on a trajectory toward where you went after high school. And there was actually one event that happened that actually was a bad event, but it really kind of started me on a trajectory to be a serious musician. This is kind of one of those silver lining stories. You know, when you're in high school, there's always a lot of drama, right? Which now doesn't seem like a big deal, but at the time it's just earth-shattering. And anyway, I had a group of friends in 9th grade, and we always ate together in the cafeteria where we just were eating dinner. That looks totally different now, you can't even recognize it. But anyway, we always ate together, and through a series of events, you know, kids aren't always very nice to each other. And we got into some kind of a dispute over something, and they decided they didn't want to be my friend anymore. And so this was the day before cell phones and before social media, and what she did then is she wrote a note, right? And so I came into the lunchroom, and they had written a note saying, you know, we think you're an expletive, and we don't want to be your friend anymore. And they handed it to me and left and went to another table and left me sitting here by myself. And of course that was, you know, a traumatic thing at the time. And so I decided I am never going back to that lunchroom ever again. And for the rest of high school I didn't. Instead of going to the lunchroom, I went to the practice room outside of the orchestra room and used the lunchtime to practice viola. And so what seemed like a bad thing actually ended up being a good thing, because that kind of got me going to be more serious about music. And on that note, I want to, you already acknowledged Mr. Berlin, but Dr. Nelson asked me to recognize a teacher that really had a good impact on me. And Mr. Berlin absolutely did. There are teachers that are great teachers, and Mr. Berlin is one of those people who just can engage students and set them on fire and bring out whatever abilities and skills they have. And there aren't very many teachers like that. It's a very rare gift. And I was really lucky to have him as an orchestra director. And when I was a senior, I actually got to work with him because at the time he was also at Pleasant well, it was junior high, then now it's middle school. But I got to be his teaching assistant my senior year in high school. So I want to recognize Mr. Berlin. And I have the privilege of working with him still in Lee Summit Symphony. And now everybody there calls him Russ. I cannot bring myself to do it. Yeah, people will say Russ, and I'll be like, who? I'm like, Mr. Berlin. Oh, okay, now I know what you're talking about. Another person I want to acknowledge and thank is my dad, who is also a member of the Hall of Fame. And my dad is one of those people who's very quiet and very humble. He doesn't draw attention to himself. He just quietly and humbly does what needs to be done and is always an honorable person. And all my life he's been somebody who I wanted to be like. And so if this is any indication, then maybe I'm a success. Now I get to be in the Hall of Fame. Just like that. And actually my dad was really the one who kind of instilled my love of rehabbing and building and using tools and fixing things. He was always kind of, messing with drills and hammers and things when I was a kid, and he was the one that taught me how to do all those things. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I also want to thank my husband Tim back there and my son Benjamin. There's the old saying about being a starving artist or a starving musician, and that's really true. It's really hard to make a living doing that. And Tim always says, a musician is somebody who has 6 part-time jobs and no health insurance. And that's absolutely right. That is totally right. And so, having a career as a musician and also, being able to pursue this dream of rehabbing this house would not have been possible if I hadn't had a family and a husband who had a regular, normal job. And, was able to kind of pick up the slack, like picking up Benjamin from school and paying for the car insurance, things like that. So, and he's really kind of teeth gritting. We put up with that a lot of the time. And I want to say thank you very much for that. Because I know it wasn't always very fun to do. But, and it is true, Tim always has said, he said, you'd make somebody a hell of a husband. So, I think he just married me because he needed a maintenance man. Anyway, so in closing, I just want to say thank you very, very much for this honor. I was here, actually, I accompanied from Pleasantly Middle School for their Black and Gold Choir. So I was here on Tuesday night for the Parade of Choirs. They have a big concert every year. And I was kind of wandering along reading these plaques outside, and I thought, man, what am I doing in this group? I mean, all these people have done all these great things. And so it's a huge, huge honor